Hi, so in this video we're going to have a look at doing some clothes for the character. In the last episode we optimised the number of faces to make the model more manageable, and so we've taken off the subdivision surface modifiers. So let's have a go at making some clothes. So I think what I'm just going to actually probably hide the body. So I want to make the waistcoat and the belt, sort the shoes out and the collar and the cuff. So while your character might not be the same and you might not want to copy every step, these are just sort of general sort of principles that you could look at doing. So let's get rid of this. So I'm going to have a go at making a little collar. So now you can see the actual real topology we've got. So I'm thinking maybe this loop here I want to use as my collar. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make and there's a few different ways of doing this actually. I'm just thinking what might be the easiest way. So there are a few different ways of doing it. So one way is we could do an edge loop, and the other is we could extrude it. Let's try extruding it first. So I'm just going to use the Alt and line mode and click on a line. Let's have a look, like that, and GG to edge slide. I'm just going to bring that down a bit, and the same with this one, GG. So this ring here is going to be my collar, I think, on my shirt. So I'm going to see if I can go into face mode and select the edge loop with Alt. And then I'm going to go into extrude region, and then I'm going to change it to extrude along normals, and then I'm just going to bring that out a bit. So that's actually going to be the collar on my arm. So if you've got clothing on instead of an actual arm like I have, what you might want to do, just going back into the edge loop mode and using Alt, might want to actually scale this out a bit more. Let me do this one, and then this loop here, and scale it. Be careful how I do that, and maybe I'll need to bring it up a tad. And we can work on these individual bits in a minute, like here. I could GG and edge slide it, and you could make it so it's not so uniform, definitely, as well. But for now, that's a very basic collar. Now you'll find that when you do this, the smoothing will make it look weird. So if you go into face mode with 3, you can actually select these faces. I don't know if I can select the loop now, it's going the other way. You can select the faces, and I'm probably going to do some of this off camera, so I'm just going to show you. Let's go to face, shade flat, and what that will then do is it will shade them parts flat instead of smooth. So let's just go around here and do some of this one so you can see what I mean. Shade flat. That's one way of doing it. There is another way of doing it as well with you can do the marking the edges, mark sharp, and that will mark an edge sharp, and then you can use the normals. You can click auto smooth on, and that should start smoothing things. You might need to up this percentage, and then that should give you roughly what you want. We'll come back to that in a little while. So I'm happy with that for now. Could always make that bigger, get it slightly better. Let's have a go at the waistcoat, because that's a little bit different. So I'm going to hide the ears, the eyes, the eyebrows, the head, the nose and the hair. Let me rename that to hair. There we go. And let me hide the hair. So, and what have I done here? Let me hide that hair. Right, so with the waistcoat, it's going to go sort of there. Obviously not over the arms. Let me click on my model. So what I'm looking at doing, I'm seeing if it can match any of the polygons. I see this line down here, that's quite useful. So I'm going to use that. So I'm going to select all these and maybe down to here. So I'm going to do a couple of selections. So there, maybe there and there. I'm not going to select them all because in X-ray mode you might select through them. And then it sort of comes down maybe under the arm, under here. So I'm going to select off of that, hide my drawing, and there's different ways of selecting things. One useful method is the circle select tool. So if you press C, and then you can select different parts, and you can make it smaller or larger. Let's have a think. Do I want that? So if you hold shift you can deselect. Now I think that's probably okay. Now you can't spin the model around while you're using circle select, so you have to press enter, turn your model round and then go back to circle select. Now across the back it goes all the way around. So if I go there, press enter, and then on the top I'll probably want something like that. So what I've got selected is what will be my waistcoat. So obviously it's going to be different for yours. You might just need to do a little part of it. But the idea behind this, and there's a few ways we could do this. I'll just show you the other way. I'm not going to do it this way, but it might be useful for your method. You can go to mesh, duplicate, mesh duplicate, and I'm just going to click in place, and then I'm going to do S to scale. Whoops, did I actually duplicate it? Mesh duplicate, and then S to scale. And what that's done, if I move that out of the way, you can see that's actually made like a skin, like a coat, and you could use that. I'm not going to do that though. What I'm going to do is extrude along the normals again, and I'm just going to put a very thin extrusion on like this, and that's going to be my waistcoat. So it goes all the way around, and that's my waistcoat. So I'm happy with that. That's fine, and I can pull these about and make it less regular, or I could add more to it. I'm probably going to leave it at that. And definitely, like say here at the bottom, I might want to get this vertex and definitely pull it out a bit. I probably don't want it to be so uniform. I might want to pull it down. You can use B to select and like select two, and you could whoops, I don't want to select that other one. Select two, and then you could give it some shape, so it doesn't look so static. And you definitely do want to do that, make it look more interesting. So you could definitely shape it a little bit, make it have a bit of shape. We could take the mirror modifier off later, and then we can do the other side differently. So that's the waistcoat done. I'm going to do the bottom of the leg and the boots. So in my character, I just go into 1 on the number pad. I've got the trousers that come over the shoes, and then some boots with like a sole. So let's have a go at doing that. Turn X-ray mode off. So I think for my trousers, I'm going to do this different to the cuffs. just to show you a different technique. I'm going to use a loop cut. I'm probably going to do it about here. And what I'm going to do is just scale it in. Yeah, that's it. I'm happy with that. That's done. And again, you can move these points down to give your character more, you know, obviously it's very plain like this, so you might want to give it some, you know, adjust it to make it look like it's flowing material and it's not so uniform. You might want to select this edge loop and scale it in a bit. But that's it for the trousers, so that was quite easy. For the shoes, again, we'll do something similar, but we'll add a couple of extras in. So let's select all the bottom of the shoe. Yeah, probably that as well. Yeah, and what I want to do is flatten that out. So if I press S for scale, Z for Z-axis, and 0, it will flatten them all out. So now I've got a flat shoe, which is good, and make it much easier to walk. Then you've got two options. You could extrude it down like this and create another loop, but I'm going to do a loop cut here, bring that down like that. So now I've got a ring going all the way around my model. I bet I can't, no. Select the edge loops, it goes the other way. So I'm just going to do it manually. And we'll do the same as what we did on the collar. Whoops. There we go. And then I'm going to extrude along the normals. And I'm just going to extrude that out a little tiny bit. And that will give me the edge of my shoe. So that's fine. Happy with that. Yeah, I think that's okay. Again, things like this, if you've got these and you want to give it a bit more definition and shape, you know, you can always just move it a little bit, tuck it in, change the shape of things a little bit. I want to have a go at the belt now. So let's have a look. So let's go into front mode. So we've got the belt and we've got some lines already, but they don't quite line up. So I've got to choose whether I want to use these or this one. Let me have a look at the shape again. I feel like this line's quite important for the bottom. I might use, so I'm thinking of using this for the belt, and ideally I want that to be down there. So if I do that, it's going to create some weird stretching and problems on there. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to grab the whole edge loop around here and move that down to about there, and grab that edge loop and move that one down. And it might change the shape of your character a bit, so you might have to put it back. But I've essentially got now something where roughly where that belt would go. It's a little bit high, so maybe I could select that edge loop again. Maybe there. Has that made a mess of the geometry? This is because of the way the angles of on the smoothing is done. If I round that off a little tad, I'll probably leave that there. So this is where the belt is going to go, and there's a few ways of doing this. So I think what I'm going to do is just select this and extrude it out. Probably not quite as much as this top here. Let me get this line. I'm going to pull this line out a little bit to make that a little bit more noticeable. and maybe push that in just to give it a little bit more definite definition. Now I've got a bit of a problem here in that I've got a face here and a face there. So what I'm going to probably just do is cheat and delete that face so there's nothing there. It's see-through, and I'm just going to get this line and I'm just going to push it inside there. Yeah, I think that's okay. No one will know. It'll be fine. Yeah, that's okay. We've not really got any overlapping geometry there because it's perpendicular to it. But now we do have this belt, and you can play around with this and tidy that up. But we've got a belt, so that bit's okay. Whoops, I don't know what I did there. Ooh, changing the angle. So that's the belt. We've got the belt, we've got that. If I want to, I'm probably not going to do this now, but if I want the belt buckle, what I would do is make that as a separate piece and probably just put it on top, to be honest. That would be the easiest way. So I just make this shape and that shape and put it on top for the belt buckle. For the buttons of the shirt, what I could either do is paint them on, or like I did the eyes, I could literally make the eyes like this, maybe smaller, lower polygon versions, and just put them on, and that would be fine. And if I take the mirror modifier off, I could put a crease down the middle as well, which I'm not going to do at the moment. Where's the eyes? Yeah. So we've got the waistcoat, we've got the belt, we've got the cuffs, we've got the trousers, we've got the shoes. We could mess about with the hands. My character doesn't need a ring. I mean, things like this pointy finger, you could just bring that in, give it a bit more shape, so on. But if you did want a ring, it would be fairly easy to put a loop cut in, and then maybe you would select face mode. I'll have to do it manually. If you can't rotate around there, press the period, or the full stop on your number pad, and then it will rotate around that point. And then you could extrude it along the normals again, and that would, there you go, hey presto, a ring. So you could do a ring like that, and you could also shape bits of the hand. So for instance, the knuckles, and I am going a bit quicker now because I'm only giving you ideas, so vertex mode, and then we could pull the knuckles out a little bit and so on, and you could then start shaping things. You could shape the middle of the finger a bit more if you want to add more geometry, if you're worried about it deforming when you go for you could scale that out as you do it, and so on. Add more geometry. You could sort the shape of the arm out a little bit, going through some of these edge loops and expanding them, just making it generally a better shape. My arm's a little bit wonky here, isn't it? So yeah, just generally fixing things, getting the edge loops and moving them. So maybe moving that, moving that edge loop, scaling it, trying to get it more even and in a better place. So I think we've got that. Oh, I was just going to do the collar, wasn't I? So this here, so let me press 1. So I'm just looking, so it's obviously an angle and it comes down here. There's a few ways of doing it. I could cut it and actually move that down to there and move this one in. And I think sometimes the easiest method is the best. So I am going to do this, not a cheating way, but an easier way. I think what I'm going to do is just add a plane. Yeah, I'm going to add a plane. Actually, it might be easier thinking about it if and this is part of the process, you're solving problems and you're thinking about different solutions. So if I add a plane now, add a plane, and I need to make sure that my mirror modifier doesn't have clipping on, otherwise I won't be able to move it. So I'm going to scale it and move it. And what I'm aiming to do is, is aiming to make this collar. So let me just have a look at it again. So it's like a rectangle almost that's folded around. So let's have a look again. So let's rotate this. So you can probably see what I'm going to attempt to do. So I'm just getting it in the right place roughly, and I'm going to go into edge mode and bring that down. And really, essentially, what I'm going to do is just try and make the right shape, and then just put it in place. I keep forgetting what it looks like. So, oh, it literally is a rectangle on its side, and it goes under. So I can leave that like that. So it's because it, whoa, what am I doing? Select the model. Edit mode. Yeah, so to select that face, and then I can rotate it. And then what I'm going to try and do is slowly bring it into position here and rotate it round. You can see what I'm going for. I'm probably not going to do the whole thing. And then what I'll do is I will extrude this into 3D, and then I'll start trying to pop it down where it goes. So L to select linked, and then I'm going to slowly move it where I think it should go. And what I might have to do, I might have to extrude that and bend it round. So let's just move it a bit further. And it is just a matter of moving it into position. And if you've got vertex snapping on, which I have, you could probably snap it to vertices. I think that wants to be a lot lower actually. I think it comes, whoops, I think it comes right down here. Let me just have a look from the front view. Yeah, it does. It comes to a little bit like there, I think, and it wants to be a lot wider. So this is a matter of just playing around with it and, whoops, getting it roughly in the right place. So once it's roughly in the right place, I'll probably snap all the other vertices to here, and it will then line up. So to do that, I'll probably need to go into wireframe mode. So the way that would work is I'll delete that edge, that face, and then I'll go into vertex mode, so 1, and I will turn snapping on, and I will turn on, make sure I've got auto merge on, and I will move that to there, and I will move that to there, and I'll probably move that one to there and that one to there. And then when I have a look, that should roughly be right. Now it looks like I've got a bit of a line going through it. Yeah, so I'll need to bring it out a little bit more for it to, whoops, I've still got that on. So I need to bring this out even more. I've forgot my overlays turned on. Something like this. I perhaps shouldn't have snapped them to there because it's going through. So I'm going to fix this off camera because it's boring to watch, but if you've got to undo it, you've got to undo it. So I probably don't want to snap it. I probably want it to just intersect with this and go behind. So I'm going to do that off camera, but all I'm literally going to do wireframe. I've turned my different mode on for some reason. I've lost my transparency. Right, okay. I know it's quite hard to see, but this edge here, this one here, that needs to be on to see the selection. That needs to come up so it intersects with that, like this. That's better. And then we'll turn back into solid mode. So that's going to go there, and that is going to go probably down in there and down a bit there. Something more like that. And if that gets in the way, we'll just move it down a bit. There. So, and if this is too high, we'll just move that as well. So there we've got the collar for this shirt. That I made that probably a bit harder than it needed to be, but we've got there in the end. So sometimes you will have to sort of faff about with it a little bit, and again, if you're not happy with it, you can move it about and you can get that sorted. I think it's the one underneath that's causing me the issue. Can't see it to grab it. This one here, that's it. So if I cheat and just move that down a bit, that'll be fine. I've got another issue there. I'll have to move it. Yeah, so it might take a bit of faffing about, but you'll be able to get the shape you want and sort that out. What I'm going to do just before I go is I'm just going to snap that with clipping to be one vertex, I think, and move them all to be one. Oh, what have I done here? Yeah, see, that one's gone past, so I'm just going to snap them all to be one vertex just to keep it cleaner. I think that's better. I think that probably needs to be a lot thinner. Oh, I've still got snapping on. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. So there's my shirt. Got the shirt. The rest of it will be texture. I'll do the belt buckle off camera. I've got my shirt coming down here. I've got a ring on. We've got the boots. We've got the trousers. So yeah, sorry, that was a bit of a longer episode than I thought. But it is about solving problems. It's about figuring the best way out to do things and trying to get it to work. And if it doesn't work, it might be that you have to undo it and try again. So we'll leave it there, and then the next episode will be texturing. So I'll see you there.